What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, shares, donations. Your support really is just phenomenal, Sag, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. You are in for an amazing journey. Now, the theme of this week's monthly spread is going to be business and all the ways we can help you make it rain, or something along those lines. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just good vibrations all around here. Now, with this spread, I'm going to be pulling 10 cards, and I'll be doing clarifications as need be. And, of course, a good old surprise card at the end, Sag, so don't you panic. And in case y'all were curious, I'm using an OG deck, Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck, and I included a link for this deck and other decks that I like using down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But let's go ahead and get into your first card, which is going to be the current situation here. So, Higher Self, what's the current situation looking like for Sagittarius in business? Let's see what you've been cooking up, Sag. Let's get on this thing. Wait. Okay. Nice. You got the Two of Wands here. And I feel like with this, we just been going out there and getting it. Because with the Two of Wands, this is about kind of establishing your domain here, So whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whether you're maybe starting up, I don't know, I've been thinking kind of big here, I was telling Aries, if you want to start a volunteer center, maybe you kind of start your own clinic, maybe you want to achieve something in really cool with medicine, or maybe something with art, cooking, whatever this is, I really feel like we've been in this place of where just the energy has just been kind of ripe, and we just been kind of going out there and just making the most of this stuff here, because this is Mars and Aries, and so Mars is at home with Aries, Mars rules Aries, and this is I feel like when these energies are lining up here, it's time to take action. So if we've been at that place, I've been thinking, I'm so excited for you, just the words are just flowing out here. If you're at this place where you've been going for, think big, Sagittarius, because your energy is just, really starting to understand your energy here, and really how just how expansive Sagittarius energy really can be. How because when you think about your ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the benefactor of just fortune and just good luck, and just all of that good stuff, rules over philosophy and just a lot of just real kind of deep kind of type of intelligence, and a different level of type of intuition here. So I just feel like, okay, sorry, if we've been doing this thing, dope. And if we've been maybe kind of feeling a little hesitant, maybe we've sort of been we might be feeling this heat, but we're not sure where we want to channel this thing. I feel like, Sag, that's something where sit down with this for a second, figure out what it is that, what's calling out to you here, because this here, it's this is something where it's I feel like the energy is trying to pull you into a certain type of direction here. Maybe some of us is just could be a little overwhelming, if it's just where you're flooded with almost kind of these unknown type of feelings, this feeling of a longing or a yearning or something along those lines, something for more, you know what I mean? And something too to consider, maybe if we're not feeling that inspiration or something along those lines, I think too about Sagittarius, it's I want to say Jupiter covers long distance travel as well, so maybe some of us might benefit from taking a trip, as it makes sense for you here. Maybe we can go for a long drive, or a road trip or something like that. Maybe going on a long bike ride, or go on a real long hike, or just something where I feel like maybe we can just kind of just be in a place of where if we're in a state of momentum, maybe this stuff will start flowing for you here. So hopefully that makes sense. I know Two of Wands can be a chatty one sometimes, but that's what I'm getting with that. So either way, I feel like good stuff is coming from the Sagittarius. So let's get on to your second card, which is going to be some current challenges. So Higher Self, what are some challenges that may be coming up for Sagittarius with this energy here? Because that's an explosive start there, Sag. Let's see what's going on. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we're in the middle of a devil moment here, Sag. And with the devil popping up, you know, the devil gets a bad rap. You know, I feel like the devil really is, it really is, when at the end of the day, wants to raise us up. It's really trying to raise that vibration here. It's just that the devil goes about it through very unconventional and sometimes very undesirable types of ways. You know, it's really going to, that whatever it is that weakness, or you know how I like to put them, you know, that strength that's waiting to be discovered and refined, you know, it'll bring it out in kind of an aggressive, or I don't want to say an aggressive kind of way, but it'll be like, okay, where, let's say for example, if your thing is with drinking, you know, it's like, it'll start off where, okay, you might hiccup once, and then you're like, okay, I'm not gonna be going out to the clubs again. That's fine. And then next thing you know, you're at a family place, and then you're like, hey, let's have some wine, or let's do this stuff here. And it's just like, oh, I can have one, and then you fall off the wagon again. It's just like, okay, this is really not working. You know what I mean? It just like, it comes out in weird ways where it's just like, you think you got it over one here, and then it's gonna come from another blind spot. You know, the devil kind of waits. It's just like, ooh, but what about over here? And then, ooh, what about over here? The devil pokes the bear, and we don't like to be poked, but sometimes it's necessary, because it's just like, this is something that we need to get eyes on. You know, I feel like there's a reason that those kind of situations pop up, because it's like, you know, it's something that can possibly deter you from your journey, you know, if we don't learn to work with that and understand what that is. And it could be too, you know, since we're talking about business, you know, maybe some of us aren't maybe good with our finances here. You know, maybe it's something that where, you know, we're staying afloat here, but let's say maybe we have like a gambling thing. You know, maybe it's something that, you know, things are getting a little murky there. Maybe we're starting to, at first it started off like, oh, you know, we might have been like a couple $100 in the hole, and that's even a couple bucks in the hole, I'm sure is not ideal, but you know, Sagittarius. But then, you know, next thing you know, where the stakes are getting a little bit bigger, and then who knows, you know, we get into this place that maybe where we start taking like assets from our business, you know, things start getting a little weird, then we get into legal things, and see what happens. It just becomes a whole big mess, all because we just didn't have eyes on it, you know, that we weren't aware that this had such a grip on us than we had realized. And I feel like that, whatever this devil moment is, if you've noticed that it's one thing if we're kind of healing from this thing, you know, we kind of got eyes on it, but it's just like we're still dealing with it internally. But if we're kind of ignoring this thing, and it's been where, you know, we're ignoring like the physical signs where like the body, you know, like let's say usually if we're kind of under like stress and stuff, maybe like, you know, face might break out, or, you know, like weird kind of like, you know, maybe rashes, or, you know, some ways like if it doesn't come out through the body, then it's going to bleed into the environment, you know, it's going to be, and that's not like it's not like higher self is like trying to set you up for, you know, failure here. It's just like, you're in trouble, and there's no other ways that we can't seem to get this message out here. So it's gonna bleed it, you know, we're just like, okay, well then let's set this thing on fire, you know, or let's get this tweak in here, you know, like it'll be just random stuff that'll happen, but it's because we're ignoring something here. You know, there's something that's wanting to be addressed, you know, that's something that wants to be strengthened here. And believe it or not, Sagittarius, you know, it's going to be for your betterment, you know, but it's I feel like, you know, the current challenge, you know, just kind of look into things that might be lowering our vibration here, and how we can learn from that thing, and, you know, get the nuggets of wisdom from this situation here, so that we can expand, you know, so we can keep this growth here. Because you're trying to do, again, when I think about just like Jupiter energy and all of that, you know, you really have the opportunities to really have like just some really awesome impact on the planet, you know, and really, because when I even think about just like Sagittarius as a fire sign, it's just, it's different, you know, it's, and of course every sign is different, of course, but you bring fire in a, I feel like it's almost, I'm not even sure. It almost comes in like electricity or something along those lines. You know, it's something where it's just like a realization. You know, when you're kind of like talking amongst friends, and then you have like that really good idea, and it's just like, ooh, that's the one. You know, that's the kind of energy that like that kind of Sag energy just sort of like gives me. You know, that it's expansive. So just something to, I feel like if there's something that's hindering that growth here, you know, let's just try to get eyes on this thing. So let's get to your third card, which is going to be where you can kind of find help with this energy here. So higher self, what are some ways that Sagittarius can like find some assistance with this energy here? Let's see. Let's check that out, Sag. What's going on there? Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm with it. You got the Princess of Cups here. And I feel like, you know, this is something where we just need to kind of look at where we're sort of like, where we're pouring our energy into. You know, are we feeding things that that are supporting, again, like I was saying, that are like supporting our growth here? Because the thing with the Princess of Cups is, you know, she's the type that whatever the situation is, she's very generous with her energy here. She's the type that likes to give and give and give and give until she has no more, you know. And where that can be good, you know, if we're kind of focusing on like ourselves, you know, if we're kind of like ignoring our stuff here and just kind of like feeding into this, you know, whatever this devil moment is, or you know, or whatever that is, you know, if we're not getting the wisdom from that thing, it's not going to, it's counterproductive to our growth here. And I do feel like, you know, that some of us would, if this is resonating with you so far, to just like really more so kind of like look within, and like it's time to pour some loving into yourself here, and really kind of fill those cups and find out what it is that is kind of preventing this drive. You know, if we've been in a place of where we've kind of stagnated a bit, because it's again, the devil moments and all this stuff here is not meant to bring you down here. And when we do hiccup, because every now and again, even when we do feel like, you know, when we're feeling like, you know, real sharp, you know, really kind of at the top of our game, like, all right, finally we're getting a groove here, somehow, you know, just, you know, there's like, you might trip a little bit, and that's okay. You know, it's just you show yourself, you're kind to yourself. It's just like, okay, why did that happen? You know, what was the situation going on here? Right, because it started with this thing, and of course, which naturally would have led to that thing, and because knowing me, I would do blah blah blah, and you see, and then you just kind of get eyes on this, and you start understanding the process here, you know, as opposed to just like, well, I don't know how this happened, you know, like it just one of those things, just kind of lost myself for a little bit. Well, you don't have to stay lost anymore, Sagittarius. We can get eyes on this stuff here. We can take a step in that other direction here, you know, because if we keep going down that route here, it's going to get to this place of where your business is going to get in a rocky state here, because you may have got the reins on it right now, but that does have a sneaky way. If we ignore this stuff here, it'll come out and work. Believe me, you know. Devil and I, we've had discussions in the past. You know, I've had my fair share of devil moments here, but you grow from them, and you really do become a better person. And think too, you know, the devil is the father of the zodiac. It's Capricorn energy in here, and we're sure we may not like to be yelled at by Dad. Dad's got a good point too. You know, it may be a tougher lesson than maybe how Mom might deliver it, but it's still valid all the same. You know, just something to think about with this energy here. So let's get to your fourth card here, which is going to be some long-term gains. So higher self, what are going to be some long-term gains for Sagittarius? You know, we're dealing with this stuff here. You know, we're starting to get eyes on it. Maybe we're getting some help too. And something to keep in mind too, you know, this isn't medical advice, but if this is something that, because you see how I shuffle, but if we are having some troubles with this stuff here, you know, if it's something where you know, dealing with it by yourself is difficult, you know, reach out to someone if that makes sense for you here, you know, find a way to make this stuff work for you here, you know. So just another something to just keep in mind, Sag. But yeah, let's get back to what are some long-term gains for you here. Let's see what's going on for you there. Interesting. You know what? I'm with it. because you got the Five of Disc here. And with the Five of Disc, I know how this might look. It's just like, that looks kind of ominous. And you know what? When we're in this thing, yeah, it's going to be ominous, because it's just like we're dealing with the dark stuff now, you know, because maybe we've been worried for a while. It's like, oh, what if this thing does get out of hand? You know, what if I can't handle this thing? You know, what if, you know, what's all that? It's anxieties, you know what I mean? But the long-term gain is that these anxieties are going to go away, but it's going to be once we face them. You know, if we keep kind of, you know, putting the blinders on them, it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to take a different role then, you know, like the devil's like, okay, this isn't working, let's try this way, you know, and it's gonna jump over your guard or go under your guard, or, you know, just all that stuff. It's gonna keep coming out. And if we keep just sort of like being in the space here, you know, that's what's gonna create in your world. It's gonna be nothing but worry, anxiety. And two, you know, the Five of Discs can represent monetary anxiety. So, you know, this could be something, you know, maybe things have gotten to a place where, you know, we might be in a bit of a jam here, you know, might be maybe kind of short on, if we like maybe, let's say if we started up like our own little shop here, you know, maybe we're a little behind on rent, you know, maybe if we're running like a restaurant, maybe we've been like, we don't have enough money for supplies this week, you know, if something weird has happened, you know, and we notice that things are kind of getting out of hand, you know, we just gotta deal with them. It might suck in that moment, but it's better than just staying in that suck, because it's just gonna keep spiraling until action is taken, until we Two of Wands. It's just going to stay buried underneath this thing here. And so it's going to be one of these kind of this kind of lesson. If this is resonating with you, you know, it could be potentially a kind of a rougher one here, you know, depending on where we're at on this thing here. But that doesn't mean it has to stay like that. You know, it's just going to be, the lesson is just going to be that much bigger. And you know what? You're going to be so much more compassionate. And you know what? When we find someone else who's going through this thing, it's just like, yo, listen, been there. It's like, here are the tools that I needed, and then see what, you know, let them be with that. And then, you know, and then it repeats itself, becomes a ripple effect. And then we're starting to get there in the right direction here. So I know when we're in it, Sagittarius, it can feel like a lot in the moment, but it's not forever, you know. We can paint this reality however you want. It's gonna start with, you know, first facing these things, and, you know, not ignoring them, and then giving them, allowing that stuff, that time to heal. You know what I mean? So all right, let's get to, I'm gonna take that as a yes. Now let's get to your fifth card, which is going to be some short-term gains, you know, because we got a lot to think about for the future here. But let's see what's coming in the near future here. So higher self, what are some short-term gains for Sagittarius? Let's see what is what's coming in for you there, Sag. Yeah, okay, nice. You got the Prince of Wands here. And with the Prince of Wands, you know, this is the type, and, you know, I like that he popped up here, because one thing that's really unique about the Prince of Wands compared to the other princes in this deck is that all the other princes, they're guiding with their eyes closed here, but he's the only one who has his eyes open here, because he sees what's going on. He's no longer ignoring the issue now. You know, I feel like this is like kind of like symbolizing like, yo, let's get eyes on this thing, and let's have the courage to face this monster head on. And we may not even feel like we can do this thing, but you know what? Neither did the Prince of Wands at first, because if you check him out, when you look at his reins here, it's loosely draped over his wrist there, and with holding a lion there, you need to have homie, I would appreciate you to have a tighter grip, but it's fine. He's greeting his demons right now. It might be the first day. But that all to say, Sagittarius, it's just like it's going to be one of those things, you know. It's going to suck, but the confidence is going to come back here, because this is Leo energy. You know, this is the type, you know, think about, you know, when I think about like that, like lions, you know, it's just like that confidence is just like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but bring it, you know, like, come on, you could come at the sun. I dare ya. And you know what? Let this thing try to come at Jupiter. I dare it, because it's, Sag, you can totally handle this thing. And it's going to be one of those, it might be a little awkward at first, you know, when you're trying to tackle this stuff. You know, we might have, not sure how much we've been putting up here, but, you know, we give them the space, like, okay, yeah, this happened, wasn't great, wasn't my best moment, you know, could I shine brighter? Sure, you know, but just even admitting that there, growth happened. You just leveled up, and then you just keep that momentum there. You know, we get the reins back on this thing. You know, because I feel like, you know, maybe some of us feel like this is maybe gotten too out of control. We're in it too deep, and it's just like it can get to where that it's just like you can almost like you're paralyzed. You know, it's like that fight, flight, or freeze. You know, and maybe some of us might be stuck in that frozen state. It's just like, oh crap! Like, how did this happen? You know, and so. Whew, but this is good. This is good. I know that was like a whole lot, but this is good. You know, I do feel like this is a step in the right direction here, because again, you saw it, I saw it, and now we can work this out together here. And you know what, if you have been frozen for a while, you know, you feel like you weren't sure if you can make that move, let this be your first step right here, because now we at least understand what's going on here. It's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've been ignoring all this stuff here. Like, I you know, it's not being great, but we can make it better. We can totally make it better. It's where there's a will, there's a way. So let's go find that way. And you know what? We're gonna talk about that way right now, because we're gonna go get on to some of your strengths here, Sag. So higher self. What's the strength that Sagittarius bringing to the table? Let's see how we're gonna face this thing. Yeah, let's get this confidence built up, Sagittarius. I'm with it. Yes. You got the Eon card here, which is Judgment. And normally, hold on. Let's just talk about this, because with the Eon card, what I bet you're gonna come up here. Hold on, Sagittarius. Oh, there she is. Confirmation that things are going to change here, Sagittarius, because with the Eon card, this is a card of. Here, I'm gonna put this right here for a second, babe. This is a card. Come here, sweetness. Okay, hold on. Oh, I know. Come here, baby. So with the Eon card, this is a card of, like, you know, closing one chapter and then starting a new one here. And I feel like that's what's gonna happen with this thing that's been going on right now. You know, you've been kind of stuck in this thing for a while, and it's time to move on from that. You know, it's time to we've given this enough time here. You know, do we want to stay kind of locked into this in this Five of Wands, Five of Disc energy here? Or do we want to put that thing and start growing from this stuff here? Because when I think about the Eon card too, you know, in other decks, this is the Judgment card. And Judgment card for me is just like, this is like an ascension here. You know, this is like, it's a rebirth. You know, you're shedding all of that oldness. You know, you're leaving all that behind, and you're rising up like the mighty phoenix. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is that change that we've been needing. And so, and I feel like I really do feel like that's some kind of energy that you can bring too, because you're a mutable sign as well, Sagittarius. You know, you can adapt to this type of to whatever situation that's coming your way. It's just really learning to play with those strengths, and then, you know, and making the most of this stuff here, and again, you know, getting this wisdom from this stuff here, because this situation here, you know, despite how it might feel, again, this is not meant to bring you down. This is meant to rise you up. You know, something beautiful is going to grow from this stuff here, but sometimes we have to go through this, like, an awkward and kind of uncomfortable phase, but growth growth is coming. Now let's talk about get to your next card, which is going to be some weaknesses, but that's a strength waiting to be discovered and refined. So higher self, what are some weaknesses that we that Sagittarius can get some eyes on here? What are some ways that we can harness this strength here? You know, we're starting a brand new chapter here. Wow, let's see what we can improve in this next one here, Sag, because I am with it. Okay, you got the Three of Swords here. And so I feel like with this, you know, this is in a place where, you know, we just, like, right now, our weaknesses is just like, this thing has really got us kind of feeling some kind of way. You know, it's got us into where I feel like maybe we're in this sort of like this loop of where we feel like, you know, that this stuff just kind of like happened to us just because we may feel like maybe we deserve this thing, or that you know, that we can't possibly have that bigger, brighter future. You know, that this will never get behind us. You know, whatever it is that sad spiral that we kind of get in here, because the Three of Swords is really really kind of depressing type of melancholy type of energy here. You know, it's Saturn in Libra, and believe it or not, I want to say that Saturn is exalted in Libra. So where it may seem like it's something that is bad in the moment, there's something that's trying to trying to grow trying to grow from this situation here. You know, balance is trying to be restored, but it's just like we got to deal with something here. There's something that's holding us back here. You know, because Saturn is a planet of restrictions. You know, there's something that's restricting us. You know, that's really keeping us shackled. And how do we get over that thing so that we can get to equilibrium again, so that we can feel like we can tackle this stuff head on and really really grow from this thing here. So this is something that where, listen, if you got to feel this thing, feel it however long that you need to. You know, I'm gonna kick it with you along the whole journey here. But at some point, you know, when we're feeling ready, when we're ready to close, you know, move on to that next chapter here, because I feel like, you know, the fact that it even popped up here, we're on the last page of this craziness here. We're wrapping things up. You know, it's kind of coming to, we gotta tie up some loose ends here, so that when we go into the next chapter here, we're going from a place of wanting to grow and wanting to heal, and, you know, and really kind of really embody the best version of ourselves that we're trying to be here. So all right, let's get to your 8th card, which is going to be what to focus on in the present. So, higher self, what is it that Aries should focus on? Oh, excuse me. What is it that Sagittarius should focus on in the present? Let's see what are some, how we can focus on in the present there for you, Sagittarius. Nice. You got the 6 of Cups here. And I feel like with the 6 of Cups, you know, and it's funny, usually the 6 of Cups, like on the shadow work side of it, you know, this is kind of like my, you know, kind of being mindful with how we're getting into our recreation, because it's a prelude to a devil moment here. You know, there's a potential for overindulgence. But I feel like with this kind of popping up here, you know, I really am getting a more so just kind of, when you're shining light on this thing, you know, when we're really kind of bringing this stuff up to the surface here, because this is the Sun in Scorpio here, you know, show it, greet it with some kindness, you know, really keep your feelings in mind here, because this is something that, you know, obviously, you know, when we're talking about the 3 of Swords here, you know, if this is resonating with you, you know, this has gotten us where at least it's got us like us kind of stuck in our head here. But let's see if we can, just kind of bringing some like some light back into this thing, you know, some happiness back into your realm here, and just kind of watch. You know, I feel like it's going to be, yes, it may not be like maybe not as fast as we want to, but when we really start, like, let's say for example, I've been thinking about, like, you know, positive affirmations. You know, that's been something that's been sort of like working its way into like a practice of mine, you know, more specifically. But, you know, anything that can just kind of get you uplifted is just like, I'm more than this situation here. You know, like this does not define me. This was sure, it might have been a mistake, but it's blah, 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 you know, more, instead of focusing on like maybe all the ways that we possibly failed or that we did X, Y, and Z, let's try to come at it from just a different type of way here, and maybe do some stuff here too, like some like kind of recreational things that can kind of get you in a better space, you know. Like if you like gardening, you know, maybe do some gardening, or, you know, maybe bring in some like plants in your office, you know, and check your environment. You know, if we've been kind of stuck in a place here, make sure that even like our surroundings are even kind of reflecting this newness that we're trying to bring into this stuff here. You know, there's so many ways that we can kind of be mindful with this energy. So yeah, that's, I think I'll leave that one there. Let's get to your 9th card, which is going to be what to focus on in the future. So, higher self, what are some things that Sagittarius should focus on in the future? Let's see, let's see what we can focus on there. Get a game plan for the time ahead. Absolutely. 10 of Cups, and you know what? Duh, because the 10 of Cups is just like, this is all your fulfillment here. Your fulfillment for you and everybody in your circle here. You know, now we got cups. Just you can throw a whole party here, and with because with this energy, you know, when we're in a place of like where we're feeling like fulfilled again, you know, where we feel like we're back in equilibrium, you know, everything does get back to this balanced place here. You know, right now it might have been like been feeling like a lot of just kind of doom and gloom, and maybe just like a lot of just sadness in general here. But, you know, if we focus on how we want to fix this thing, you know, picture ourselves being over this thing, you know, having the situation resolved here, you know, having this stuff under control, then it's gonna come, you know, it'll just naturally, you know, because that'll be the energy that you're giving off here, you know, the beacon that you're sending out, and that's what you're just gonna attract there. So I'm with it. I'm totally with it. And I hope you're with it too, because it's goodness is coming. So let's bring this thing home. Let's get to your last card, which is going to be some opportunities. So, hi yourself. What are some opportunities for Sagittarius? Let's see. Let's see what are some last little thoughts on this thing, Sag, because this has been good. I dig this reading here. Nice. Nice, look at that. Let's switch back over here, because what a beautiful ending there. Because this is a Six of Wands here. I just was, you know, just flashing in front of your face. Six of Wands is a card of, you know, it's a card of victory. You know, it's a card of love. It's a card of happiness. You know, it's like look at this energy here. Hold on, let's take a little good moment. Look at this thing here, because everything is in equilibrium again. Everything is just arranged. Doesn't look at the flames are looking really calm. You know, it's your ruler in Leo here, and when I think about Jupiter and Leo, it's one of those things that when we follow like our heart's desire, you know, when we kind of get our stuff in order here, you know, we really start channeling our energy more into the things that we love here, then the universe definitely rewards us in kind. You know, it's you know, we're raising that vibration, and we know we're doing it just. You know, there's goodness, you know, that can come from this thing, you know, and I feel like if we've been in a place where we felt stuck for a while, the relief is coming, you know. It's just whenever we're ready to face this thing, we can do it. Because another thing with the devil, one last thing, you know, in the devil cards and like other traditional decks, you know, it's like the chains are like really loose around these figures, like, you know, there's usually the devil sitting in the middle, and then there's like these two figures, and they got chains around their neck. But they're not even that tight. You can just literally just throw them bad boys off and just keep it moving. But it's just like, when do you want to start moving? You know, that's the nice thing. You know, the devil might bring those situations to our attention, but we can choose to move on at any given time. It's just whenever you want to take that step, you know. You take it, and I'm gonna be right there next to you. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. So hopefully like that. Hopefully that made sense. You know, that was quite a bit going on there, but I enjoyed that. So give that a thumbs up. If you know someone who's going through something like this, you know, share this with them. You know, let's get Sagittarius out there doing that good work. Subscribe, hit that bell button. You'll get notified when I release videos each week. I'm getting better about being all up on Facebook. And then lastly, if you have any cancer in your chart, or maybe you're in business with the cancer, check out my other channel, The Charity Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans and all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card so I can get you out of here and get you back adjusted, you know, get you back in harmony, because you got the justice card, or excuse me, the adjustment card here, which is the justice card. So two things, actually. If we're going through dealing with some legal things, you know, because that's one thing that the adjustment card can cover. You know, if we're dealing with some stuff here, you know, get that stuff in order. You know, that's first. You know, well, you know, as it makes, you know, as things come up there, you know, let's make sure that we have documents in order, just all of those types of things. You know, let's get a kind of like a paper trail, you know, make sure just that you got all your ducks in a row, you know, and this is not legal advice, you know, come on, you're still seeing how I shuffle. Again, I can't emphasize that enough, but just make sure that we're not neglecting that kind of stuff, or, you know, putting these things on the back burner. But, you know, at the end, balance is going to be restored. You know, like, sure, right now we may be on one end, but, you know, as we start adjusting the stuff here, harmony is going to be restored. It's just a matter of time, Sagittarius. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. So stay safe out there. You keep raising that vibration, and I will catch you on the next one later.